Well, there's a few reasons why I started doing what I'm doing.
Jay, do you work with the police? Do you get those guys arrested?
This guy that's trying to meet with a child that talked to what they thought was a child, came to the destination that they told the child to meet them at, that man should get arrested. So I got shot in my knee catching a child predator.
Have you ever thought about giving up?
Looking at the chats, he was saying some really dark stuff. There are so many groomers. There are so many weirdos that'll message your child and say the craziest things, trying to figure out where they live. They just need to break it open, because a lot of people are silent. They've never told anybody. So breaking that open and telling somebody can start changing the way you feel about it.
Hello, Jay.
Hello, how you doing today? It's nice to meet you.
Very good. Nice to meet you too. I'm very happy to start my podcast with you.
Let's go.
I've
Let's
heard
go.
a lot of good words. You're doing an amazing job out there in the streets.
Thank you so much.
100%. So why don't you start saying some stuff about yourself and how you got into that? Like what drove you? Explain first to the world what exactly are you doing, and say a little bit more in details.
Well, there's a few reasons why I started doing what I'm doing. First, I don't know if you know Josh from DAP,
Yeah.
Dancing Against Predators. Me and him grew up in the same small city of 15,000 people. We were best friends growing up, and when we started this, I had three daughters, he had 3 kids, and we started seeing there was a group that we had seen that was catching a lot of grown men trying to meet with children, and so we were like, let's see if we can find anybody that would try to meet up with a child in our small little city. And within the first 24 hours, we had caught 3 different guys. So that's initially we started trying to catch and expose child predators, just to make our community safer. And also, we both have our own little backstories where I was sexually assaulted when I was a kid, and the person that did that to me was like a family friend, and he had done it to a lot of people, some that I knew at the time, but after exposing him, which came along later, a couple months down the road, but initially trying to figure out how big the problem was, knowing personally that it was a big issue, and then finding out immediately how big it was, how big of an impact it was. So there's that side, and then finding out how lax the laws are versus on somebody that's trying to meet with child predators. So, what it initially started as just trying to figure out how many guys would want to meet up with kids for sex in my area, turned into me doing it for a whole lot more reasons just than that.
You know what's crazy? In Greece, where I'm from, it's legal for a 15-year-old to be married with a 50-year-old guy as soon as the parents are okay with it. That's the law in Greece.
Right. That's insane. And I think people would be surprised to find out, not married, you can't legally marry a 50-year-old if you're 15 in America. But and I'm sure we'll get into this the more we talk, but it's not illegal in most cities, most counties in America. It's not illegal to meet with a 15-year-old child either.
I'm huffing and puffing. I'm trying to keep my cool, but my Balkan blood is not very cooperating with me right now. Yes. Jay, do you work with the police? Do you get those guys arrested?
So that's kind of the it's confusing. When me and Joshua first started to catch these guys, every single time we would call the police. We probably caught 100 guys. Every single time we call the police as soon as we catch them, and we try to get these guys arrested. Very quickly, we found out that the police, it's kind of a thing that they want to do themselves, and they don't really want much help. But when you've already caught the guy, when you already have the evidence, it seems most people would think then he should get arrested. This guy that's trying to meet with a child that talked to what they thought was a child, came to the destination that they told the child to meet them at, that man should get arrested. And in most counties, that's not the case. So, do I work with the police? Sometimes when they, I've had police officers call me and say, come to my area and do what you do. And they've had certain loopholes that I got to go through, like the child has to be 12, the child predator had to say something sexual, and that's just in one
The
area.
child has to be 12.
And this is in one area. So every county has different rules.
The
Every
child has to be 12.
now
That's the line.
this was in one county in Texas. No, New Mexico, excuse me. The child had to be 12 and the man had to say something sexual. Now I've gotten guys arrested and convicted that didn't say anything sexual, that just wanted to meet with the child in other areas. So, it just all depends. So, in the beginning, me and Joshua, and now we don't work together as much, just living far away from each other.
Yeah.
But I would call the cops whenever I think that I can get a guy arrested. But if I catch a man trying to meet up, or an adult, I've caught women
Ricky, when
before.
I catch you, Ricky. Ricky, when I catch you, Ricky.
When I catch somebody, and I know the police won't do anything based off of whatever the loophole that they have set, if they're not going to do anything, then I think it's even more important to catch that guy that's trying to meet that child and expose them, because the law is not, so many times we're failed by the law, and so many survivors out there have, gone through traumatic experiences, been assaulted, called the police, and the police can't do anything for one reason or the other. So sometimes I work with the police, and I love working with the police, but most of the time, 75% of the time, I'm not, and it's, I'd like to be, but if they're not going to do anything, then somebody has to. Is what
So
my station is.
I'm so sorry.
No, you go.
Did you ever have had a case that really, really shocked you?
All the time. I mean, most of the time, they're every like I said, a lot of the guys that I catch, they don't say anything sexual. They're smarter, which they're not smart. They're trying to meet a kid, right? But they're a little bit smarter than to just spell it out and to say, yeah, let's meet. I want to have sex with you when we meet. So because they're not spelling it out and they're just saying, hey, let's meet and we'll just go to the movies, or, we'll see how things go, they're not going to get.
40-year-old person is gonna go to the movies with a 12-year-old child.
Yeah. And so a lot of them,
So much fun
right.
with a stranger.
What are you doing there
A
with
kid
a
that
kid?
you don't even know. So
Exactly.
much fun.
But in a recent instance where I did get the guy arrested, along with Josh from DAP, we caught a guy who immediately, as soon as he kind of felt, he asked, are you a cop? When the kid was 12 or whatever, he asked, are you a cop? And, the little boy was like, no. And then he was like, all right. He just started going in and telling. He started telling business of things that he'd done with other previous children and things that he plans to do. And, I don't even want to go into detail with the things he was saying, because he was that gross. So every once in a while, you do have somebody like that just shocks you and just puts you in a different perspective.
I remember, so I have a good friend that she works with disabled kids in Jersey, in a very bad area of Jersey. So I remember she was so upset one day. I'm like, what happened? I'm not going to say her name. She said, you cannot believe what happened today at school. I'm like, what happened? And she said that, I think they're changing the kids there. They put them to shower. I'm not sure. And she discovered that the child was bleeding, the girl. Like, she was 5 years old, the kid. Of course, the cops were called. They went there, and they called the mom. The mom had apathy, 100%. It's like, okay, like she didn't even care. And then they called the stepfather, that was a suspect, and he said in front of the police he did it because the mom was mad at him. She would not talk to him for 2 days in front of the cops, in front of the police. Like, you have bold people like that out there in the streets. Like, I cannot believe that we don't have way more strict laws.
Yeah, exactly.
I cannot
what
believe.
happened to this guy?
Of course he's in jail.
Okay.
Of course he's in jail, but it's insane. Like, I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, things like that happen all the time. But the guy's not always gonna explain what he did and why he
Yeah.
did it. And so for so many times I speak with people that things like that have happened to, and like you said, a lot of times it's very unfortunate. The mom might not care, or or they're just not believed by the police for whatever reason, or there's not enough evidence. So it's really unfortunate that things like that happen. And like you said, we just a part of what I'm doing is obviously trying to catch and expose uh, men that are are adults that are trying to meet up with children, but also just changing the narrative and changing how we treat these things, how we treat these people that do
Right.
these sorts of things, because they're not going to get we if we can't change the law and we can't make penalties harder on them, we got to do something. We got to change the way that we view these guys. So fuck them.
Yes, 100%. How do you make sure through this whole situation that you stay safe? Like, was there a time that you or your friends felt like, hey, we're not safe, something very bad happened?
I mean, yeah, I got shot before. So I got shot in my knee catching a child predator. Um, mo- but when I got shot, we probably caught 400 guys. We got kicked off of YouTube. We got banned off YouTube. Um, and so,
Banned for exposing predators.
yep.
That's
And
great.
you know how I do it now. This is before I even smacked him like that. This was just random. You know what I mean? Every once in a while I smack them if they grab my phone, but this is before that. So YouTube, we already know YouTube isn't a fan. But once we got kicked off, we went to catch this guy, and you know how the videos start. We put the phone on you and say, "What's up? What you doing here?" After we
Yeah.
call, and he just turned and went straight, grabbed Josh's phone, tried to grab Josh's phone, and as soon as Josh turned away and got his phone, he went for the gun, and then he pulled it out, and I grabbed the gun. We're fighting for the gun. So, I mean, other than that, other than being shot, I've been stabbed at. Didn't get stabbed, but multiple times people have weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Of
I've gotten
course.
into multiple fist fights. Um, so honestly, I don't. I mean, I used to go alone a lot, and so I try not to go alone anymore.
Yeah.
So just having somebody with me with a weapon, and that's really, I don't really think too much about, because every time they could have a gun, they
Yeah,
could
of
have a knife.
course.
So I gotta treat them as if they do have a gun or a knife until I kind of figure out they don't. Which I just caught a guy last month who the whole time he was acting really weird, and I kind of could tell he had a
You had
gun,
a
and
gun.
he did have a gun. So just kind of using my own sense and just trying to gauge what each individual is capable of. Which obviously they're there to meet a child, so who knows what they're about to do next?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, if you're disgusting enough and sick enough to do that to a kid,
Yeah, who knows what you could
yeah,
pull off? Yeah, and you're about to have your life ruined, so
of
why not just
course.
ruin my life too and try to
Yeah,
kill me? So you
yeah.
know, yeah.
Jay, how has this work and this whole situation affected your mental health? Have you been affected
Um,
with catching the child predators and seeing those stories and contacting them?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Wait, what'd you ask? I'm sorry.
How, like your mental
how did
health?
my mental health? Yeah,
Too
definitely.
heavy accent.
No, I love it. Definitely in a lot of ways. With dealing with people, like talking to other survivors, like that is when I first started this, I didn't think that would be a portion of the messages, and um basically I would say it's half of the time, it's half of my job is talking to survivors, and listen to the stories, and then using that to how I deal using that with how I deal with these guys. One, um being a survivor myself and not getting justice until I confronted them, hearing thousands, hundreds of thousands of other people's stories being very similar, and then calling the cops when I have somebody red-handed. I have a predator who, in one of my most recent videos, goes up to the police because the police was close by, and I said, tell the police what you were gonna do." He tells the police, "I was gonna have sex with this 12-year-old boy." and then not getting in trouble, right? So I have the evidence. The guy's right there, and the predator tells the police what he was gonna do,
And
and then he
they didn't
doesn't get in
arrest him.
trouble. So after that, how do you think I'm gonna feel about my interactions with these guys? One, I know they've probably most of the time they've done it to somebody else before. They're not gonna get in trouble by the police, depending on where I'm at. And so I'm a lot more. Not I have no patience with these guys.
Of course, you cannot have patience.
I have
It's
no
so
patience
hard.
with them, and it also I wouldn't say it's bad, but it opens my eyes because I've caught 800, 900 different guys, and I've caught the rich, smart, successful, good-looking guy. I've caught the homeless guy. I've caught so being because I have so many children and daughters especially, knowing what to look for in anybody, because anybody could be a child predator. So it kind of messes with me a little bit right there because I'm always questioning and trying to read somebody and look a little, look far in and see if I can find out, see anything just based off of talking to them. So in that way, it definitely has changed.
Have you ever thought about giving up?
Um, no. I thought about it for like one day when I got shot. Me and Josh, we were driving home. Um, and we're like, because before we started catching predators, we would just play video games together. And we were driving home, and I'm like, man, I think we should just play video games again. Like, let's just chill out. And then the next day, he called me. He was like, dude, do you remember what that dude said to the little girl that he was gonna meet up? The guy that shot me, he was he said something about I'm gonna take you to the woods, and he was just saying, looking at the chats, he was saying some really dark stuff, and it just made me think like, I'm shot, I'm right here, but I'm fine right now, I'm
Yeah, the
good.
girl would
Thank
not make
God,
it.
God bless. But that girl wouldn't have made it. She would have been out in the woods. Who knows what could have happened to her? So
She will never come back.
no, so ultimately I don't stop. I don't really think about stopping. It's maybe just how I can, because this is the field. This is what I'm in. When you go into something and you see the need for it, and you're making progress and you're changing some people's lives, that they would say, I can't. How could you stop? I just maybe
Of
have to
course.
change, if anything.
Yeah, 100%. I think actually that is even worse when the child predator is like a woman, or like in some cases with human trafficking cases, that the woman is the trafficker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I cannot make excuses. I cannot make excuses. Even if that the same thing has happened to her, you cannot just excuse that.
Yeah.
It's hard because some of those kids were trafficked, for example, when they were kids. I mean, some of those adults or molested, but they grow up and they do exactly the same thing. Even though I
Yeah.
want to excuse it, it's so hard because of the suffering that the new kids will go through.
Right.
It's so hard.
Yeah. I that happens. I mean, 40% of the time,
Yeah.
they'll probably explain that happened to them. One time, I caught somebody, and he said he was trying to pass on. He thought if he did it to somebody else, that what happened to him when he was a child would go away. And
Yeah.
so they got,
Yeah, I
sick
can't.
ways of kind of tricking
You
themselves
get
into doing it.
emotional there because you're like, that was a child too that got
Yes.
molested. You don't
Yes.
know what to say there. I used to study psychology in Greece, and our teachers was telling us that we have to understand the psychology behind pedophiles. And immediately I said, no, there's nothing to understand behind that. There's nothing to understand. Like, you cannot, I understand where you're coming from, that as a psychologist, you have to understand everything behind
Yeah.
your behaviors,
Right.
but you cannot just just go through and like see what made the pedophile do that, because we're
Yeah.
talking about little kids.
Yeah. I don't think they'd be able to find it out. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like nobody knows really. You
Yes,
can't.
100%. And then also you have to be upset because I remember that parade in Boston that they tried to normalize it. Okay, pedophiles
Mm-hmm.
have rights. No, you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
You belong to jail.
Yeah. They are pushing that a little bit. That's
A little bit more than it should.
yeah. That right. That's
Yeah.
it's strange.
Um,
Scary.
Jay, As far as the social media, what do you think is some signs that the parents should look out for and like be careful for when it comes to their kids?
Um, Honestly, I think having a good relationship with your kids is ultimately the best thing you can do. I mean, I don't think there's like a trick or a tactic that you can use to kind of um I just think you the best medicine is to have a good relationship with your child first off, and explaining them, having that hard conversation, which isn't really fun to have a conversation and tell your 13-year-old about grown ups, um, coming at them on Roblox or Fortnite or whatever. Like,
There's something,
it's
yeah,
it's hard to deal. It's just hard, and you just have to do it. You just have to tell them, and you have to explain to them all the dangers that are out there, and it's why it's so important to have trust, because you gotta kind of tell your daughter or your son, like, I trust you, but you have to come to me and you have to trust me to be able to look through your phone, because
yeah,
there might be something in there that you don't really understand, that this guy just wants to play Roblox with you, but it turns out he's a grown man
yeah.
and he really has ulterior motives. And so
So many situation with this app, like it's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, and I mean, and
So many cycles in there.
the apps are huge, and obviously there's a lot of ways to get a hold of a child if the child has these games and these social media apps, um, and so alerting them of groomers, and then like I said, it's just a big topic to have, but also most of the time somebody sexually assaulted is by somebody they know,
Yeah, of
and so
course.
just that whole conversation is something I don't think you can really nip in the butt or figure out in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. This
Yeah.
is kind of something that you have to have a good relationship with your child. That way you can touch back on it every so often until they're, until they're 30 years old. Like you can, cause you never, when you get older, even if you're 21, you're grown, you know what I mean? Still just kind of looking out for your child and just being able to have that conversation, I think is the most
Yeah.
important.
Especially the girls. I'm sorry, like you're a man, and I
Hmm.
believe there is a lot of good men out there. But it's so many nasty men that they're preying on young women like 19,
Yeah.
20, 21, 22 years old. So it's still important to have good relationship with your, especially daughters,
Right.
still in that age, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so now for the apps, what apps are more concerning for you?
Um, I mean, obviously the Facebook and the Instagram, those are like kind of self-explanatory. Like, I think it'd be easier to spot a child predator on those apps just based off they're just in the messages. But this Fortnite and Roblox, like that is serious, because you can add in. I think they changed it recently to where if you're like 19 or something, you have to play in a different group or whatever. But all those games, there are so many groomers. There are so many weirdos that'll message your child and say the craziest things, trying to figure out where they live. So, uh, like I said, I would say Roblox or Fortnite, but just honestly, whatever they're doing on their phone that has internet, Wi-Fi, whatever. As a parent, you got to be able to look at that phone. You got to be able to monitor that device. If your child's like, no, this is my phone, then right there, you got to fix that relationship, because
Yeah.
you need to be able to get in there and just look and just, you know.
Yeah, it's sad and very concerning. What mistakes do you think that teenagers and the kids are making online? Like trusting too easy. It's too easy for them to trust people. What do you think they do wrong?
Uh, yeah, I would say it's the trust. It's the not
The
understanding.
innocence.
Yeah, it's not understanding that this guy that gifted you 500 VC or whatever whatever it is, right? Like that he's trying to play with you.
Ooh, I'm
He
heated.
right, like you really
Yes.
don't know what that guy's up to, and like
Mm-mm.
I know this from experience, because like I said, as I said earlier, like I was assaulted by a family member who was my basketball coach. So it's somebody that would do nice things for me and make things, you know what I mean, seem one way, but they're a totally different way. So uh keeping them away from adults. Just you shouldn't be speaking with adults if
Of
you're a child.
course.
Simple as that. If there's any adults come, you're playing with them, you're talking to them, whatever. That game's no more. Like, get off of that. So I think that's really just the mistake, is just being out there and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's not really their fault in some ways, but that's why as a parent you have to kind of monitor that and limit that.
Yeah, it's like it's literally so many situations, and we go back to the same subject we had before about the laws. Like what change you think you wanted to see in the laws here in America? I know it's different in every state, but in
Yeah.
general,
Yeah, obviously every state, every country, I mean not country,
death
every
penalty. No,
county. Yeah, yeah, right.
me too.
Yeah, that's what they changed
I
it
agree.
to Florida for that. But I just think, like I said, I've caught predators in damn near every state. And if you're 21, let's say, you're 21 and you're trying to meet with a 14-year-old.
Oh, that happens so much in Greece.
Yeah, I mean,
So much.
there's something needs to happen with. So they need to change it. For one, if you have evidence on an adult doing something predatory, child predatory, like, there needs to be something done right there. You need to bring him in. Okay, is this evidence true? Let's look at his phone. Let's look at his phone. It's not really that hard. It's not hard to grab your phone and match it up. The numbers are correct. Okay, why'd you think you were going to meet with this kid here? Oh, I was going to be his friend. All right, that's a charge. Instead of, oh, he didn't commit a crime. So they could solve so many rapes, and just so many of these things could be prevented, but they don't do prevent. They need to start doing prevention, child predator
Of
prevention,
course.
instead of just trying to react to these guys raping these kids and stuff, and then putting them behind bars. That same person that was gonna do that, you could have caught him if you could just take 10%, let's go 5%. Let's take 5% of every police force, take them off the roads, because we don't need speeding tickets for 10 over.
Of
If we could
course.
have that 5% of police officers picking up an iPhone, and they could catch one guy a day. One guy a day, you do that every single day, you could catch 365 more bad guys. Every time anywhere I go to try to catch somebody, I've never been unsuccessful.
Yeah, that's why so many people like predators are going like unnoticed. I feel
Yeah.
like you could chase them more, but no, you're chasing tickets.
Right, they're chasing tickets, so just need to change up their priorities and then actually do something about a grown man meeting up with a kid. It's really not that hard, but they just
Yeah,
want to. I don't know. It's fucked up. The law's fucked.
it's so
Money,
sad.
or I don't know what they want, but obviously every place is different. In Tampa, they just arrested like 300 people, and when I catch somebody in Tampa, they'll take my evidence and they'll try to arrest them. So like, I think it just takes a prosecutor, the chief of
Somebody
police.
that really does not play that.
Yes. All it takes is one person to make a change.
Yeah, like when I got attacked in New York, the police helped me so much. The cops helped me so much. They found the suspect in 2 days.
Yeah.
They were very passionate about what they were doing.
Let's go.
Yes,
Shout out to them.
100%. Yes, 100%. They were so nice. They went like this. Boop, boop, boop,
Yeah.
boop. It was amazing, and I really appreciate them until to this day.
Yeah.
So I feel like we do need more people like them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. More energy like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just a full.
It's like you keep being motivated by putting them out of the streets, right?
Yeah.
Yes, like more motivation. I would
Right,
say.
and it's the people that mainly keep me going, because like more than half the time, I say 90% of the time, we catch somebody, they've done something before to somebody else.
100%. I've seen that video with that old guy in the bed. Jesus Christ, I don't know how you
Oh,
hold
yeah.
yourself. I
Oh,
was
here
like,
in Fort Lauderdale.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know how you hold yourself in that situation. That was disturbing.
Oh, he was old and crippled. That's what kept me from
It was
from doing anything like that.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay, if you could tell somebody something to the people that are listening to us right now, what would that be?
Um, the message that I feel like I share that is most important is, if you've been sexually assaulted, if you're going through something like that, maybe your daughter is, speak up and tell somebody about it, because uh, it's a snowball effect. It's something that it's like a battle inside that you don't really you need help with it. And speaking out and telling somebody about it, mainly um, the right person, because you can tell somebody who might be like, "Man, I don't
Or
give a
make
fuck."
fun of you.
Yep,
I had
that
a
would never happen to me. Shit like that.
yeah, nasty people.
Yeah, I mean, I told the first person I told, um, they didn't really give me a good a response. They kind of just
Uh,
didn't say anything, and that made me kind of like, oh shit, I'm not telling nobody else. But I told Josh, probably a year later, I told him, and uh, he just was there for me, and just you just ask questions, and kind of because that the voice in your head will be like, man, you're a bitch. Like, I'm a bitch for that. Like, hey, I was a kid, I was 10 years old, whatever, but I'm a man, and fuck, and so speaking up
which is
and
not true.
right, and so speaking up and telling somebody can change the way you perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the first step that I think anybody who's been sexually assaulted, they just need to just break it open, because a lot of people are silent. They've never told anybody. So breaking that open and telling somebody can start changing the way you feel about it. A lot of people are like, and I know because I did the same thing. They act as if it's their fault, and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. You didn't do it. And
Right.
so, just but you can't really get that feedback from yourself.
Of course.
So, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's better to speak up because everything starts from the mind. Once you lose the battle in your own mind, it's
Mhm.
done.
Yep.
That's why we have so many survivors that they commit suicides because they
Yeah.
keep it to themselves and they never speak. And it's very
Yeah.
important to speak up. Like personally, if anybody is going through that, can message me on Instagram or Jay, even better.
Yeah. Yes,
I
ma'am.
think I think is we have to be there for people that are going through something like that. It's very important because sometimes predators they target people that they don't have families or support.
Yep.
So
Not
they
having a dad is the main one.
exactly,
That's the
and they
main
try
one.
to isolate them even more.
Mhm.
And I had a couple situations with my friends that had came from Greece or Brazil, like that in New York. That it was like a very older guy that was trying to like isolate the girl. The girl was not mentally stable, and it just turned very bad.
Yeah.
I have seen situations like that, but because of I don't want to expose the situation
Right.
because I respect the girls. I don't want to say more details,
Yeah.
but it's so I don't know, not even disgusting. It's just like very I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
There is people
Yeah.
like that they see girls that they're not mentally stable or very young or they don't have a family, they really need help,
Right.
and instead of helping them, they're making the situation 10 times worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's very I don't know how to describe it.
Right.
But that's why we are happy to see people like you out there in the streets, um,
I
doing God's
appreciate you.
job. Of course, doing God's job. I'm very happy when I meet people like you, for real. People that they do not play that is
Yeah.
important with everything. I feel like, especially after 2020, the world is in a very dark place right now.
Mhm.
Um, and the whole situation that we try to normalize, like I said before, pedophilia,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just sickening. It's sick.
It
You
is.
have to speak up against it as much as you can.
Right.
And I know that it's people that they will literally come for me for speaking up. I had people trying to like attack me or like destroy my reputation just because I was supporting a victim of a sexual assault.
Mhm.
Because they usually the people that do that usually they want to destroy the reputation of the victim.
Yeah.
They go after the victim. They stalk the victim and try to make it look that it was the victim
Right.
assaulting and stalking them.
Yeah.
Like I had a situation like that with one of my ex-boyfriend, uh, continuously like stalking me and doing stuff
Yeah.
and trying to mess with me and a bunch of other stuff. And then he
Yeah.
was trying to make it look like I was a problem.
Right. Try to turn it around on you, huh?
Yes, so
Tricksters out there.
yeah. But that's why it's so important that there is people like you out there to help and I'm very grateful.
I appreciate you. Yeah, there's so many the laws. Sometimes they do, but in most cases they're not going to do nothing. They're not going to serve justice to the people, and so we have to do it ourselves. You know, coming together and
As much as you can. I feel like back
right.
home in the Balkans, that's more easy to do, but here,
Nah,
sometimes you actually get in trouble.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
That's
know?
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's the issue. Um,
Yeah, unfortunately.
but yeah, my name is Lily, and that was my first podcast.
Let's go.
Jay, I'm so happy you're here with me, and I opened my first podcast with you. Is there anything else that you would like to tell to the people that are listening to us?
No, just I appreciate you for having me on. It's
I appreciate you.
yeah, thank you so much. It's awesome to have people who support and are right there rocking with you through
Oh,
hard
100%.
times and facing like you said these nasty people and even the laws at sometimes. So I really appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you for not being bothered with my accent.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Thank you.